Asha, and I'm going to talk about how I manage my mental health. Now, I have been a psychology student for about 4 years now. I'm not pursuing the subject right now, but I have learned many things from it. Although I'm not going to share all of those things, I feel like I would have to study more and be a little more qualified than this to talk about the exact psychology when it comes to mental health. But in this video, I'm going to talk about how I'm able to manage my own mental health, the things I do to keep myself sane, basically. So let's go. I have tried out many things in the last 3 years, and so many things have worked out and so many have not. So I'm going to tell you about the things that have worked. So the first is whenever I'm not in the mood to hold a conversation, I zone out. So, for example, there are instances in my days when people are advising me to do stuff, and it's basically somewhat related to right now I have a lot of acne on my face. So, I get a lot of comments about how I should treat it, and I know they come from a good place, but I don't really want to hear it. So, the thing is to avoid being rude to them, to the one that is speaking, and to also come off as if I'm listening, as if I'm really paying attention to them, because in many cases these are my elders and I can't talk back to them because that is not an option, obviously. So I just zone out. I start thinking about something else. I think about maybe anime, some cartoon, or maybe some music, or any unfinished tasks I have. Basically, anything that helps me not really give my input into the conversation. And the thing with zoning out is it really helps me a lot to just tune out the conversations in the sense that I can take in what I need and I just refuse to hear what I don't want to. By refusing to hear, I mean that I just ignore it basically. It's not much of a hack. So, the thing with me is that I am underweight and I am well aware of that. But people around me like to point that out as if I don't really look at myself in the mirror every day, as if I'm not conscious of my weight. I don't know. People really love to do that. So, zoning out really helps me in this also. Now, the next thing I do is unstructured journal. Now, with this, I mean, I don't really follow a specific pattern on, oh, first let me write all the gratitude things of the things that I'm thankful, of the people that I'm thankful of. Then I'll write about my day. Then I'll write about what I want to achieve. I don't really have a structure for that. I normally, even on normal days, I don't really follow a structure. But on days when I'm feeling really mentally exhausted and I just want to let it all out, I just throw all of my words on the paper in a very haphazard manner. So I I will push out. So, for example, I'll push out the thing that happened today first, and then I'll be grateful for my parents, of all the life that I have right now, and then I'll start writing about something else. I divert a lot, obviously, in these times, but it really helps me too. So I don't really speak. I just let the speaker do all the talking, and I just am there. I'm just present. Now, the next thing is having clear communication with the people that I am able to freely talk to. So, for example, I have clear conversations with my roommate, my brother, my parents, and maybe just a few of my friends, maybe around two of my friends. So, having clear conversation really helps me because when there are things that I don't wish to do and I'm being forced to do it, I just say I would really appreciate if you don't force me into this because I'm not in the mood to do it and I won't be able to function properly. Or I would say something along the lines like at first I would be really insistent, like, no, I really don't want to do this, I don't want to do that stuff. And then I'll keep repeating the same sentence over and over again so that it is instilled in the mind of the other person that yeah, she's not going to do it if she does not want to. Now, the thing with this is that I can't be rude. They are coming from a good place in their heart. They want to do an activity with me or they want to eat the food that they are having. Like, for example, people have their own choices of food they like, right? So, in many cases, I don't like that same exact food, and I'll say, no, I don't really want to have it. But then they will be like really persistent. But they just want you to try out what they like. So it's not like they are bad for doing that, of course, but I just don't want to have that. So I'll just be really, really insistent on being no, no. I just don't want to do it. Don't force me, please. Now, the thing with clear communication is I'll come off as rude, but many people also appreciate that. I have been told that it is a good thing that you say clearly what you want to because there is no miscommunication between us. So I really liked hearing that. The next one is have solo days out. Now, this is different from a solo date. A solo date is when I intentionally go out and have fun on my own, but on the solo days, these I don't plan at many times. If I have a very busy day and midway during all the tasks and schedules, I decide that, oh, I'm mentally exhausted, I cannot go on with this day anymore without taking a break. In that times, I go to a coffee shop or maybe a pizza place. That is the most preferred place because coffee is not always favorable to me because of the heat in the state, of course. And cold coffee is also not an option every time. You can't really have that. But pizza is something like I like having it and I can make excuses for that. Of course, it's not healthy, but whatever. So, with solo days out, it's like I'll go to a pizza place and I'll just sit alone. Usually, the place that I go to right now is almost empty. It's a very tiny shop, but it's decorated very nicely. The interior is amazing. So, I'll go out for pizza alone and have a drink with it, maybe any cold drink like Sprite or anything. And it just really helps me relax a bit and be prepared, be mentally prepared for the next thing. Because as a student, it's not like I study every day or I utilize every hour in studying, but I do need to revise a little because my syllabus is extensive. So, to manage that, and with this, with writing the scripts and all, with filming the video, and then going to the gym, so there are many things involved in my days in a week. So, I do have to plan that out so that I don't get burnt out with everything. So, having solo days out spontaneously really helps me. This is something I had not been doing since like a long time. I just started it maybe last week, and I'm mentioning it right now because I have noticed a change in my mental health. Now, this is not something I have been doing since like a long time. I only started doing this last week. But the reason that I'm mentioning this here in this video is because I have really noticed somewhat of a difference. So, the last time I was really exhausted coming back from the university, and the heat was, oh my god, it was so intense. And I have to walk back home from the university to my hostel, the PG that I'm staying at right now. The thing is, it gets very exhausting after 5 lectures, and we don't really get much of a break in between the lectures. The professors come really fast, and the 5 minute breaks are not really it. So I was coming back to my hostel and I had to eat food anyway later. But I was like, let's just stop here right now and have a pizza. So I had that. I enjoyed my time. I was there for about half an hour and then I went back into the hostel. So another thing I do for myself is have a full no activity day. By this I mean I mean, I think it's obvious. I don't do anything after a whole week of slogging. So this time it was my Saturday. I slept the entire day, and my roommate had to really take off the blanket off of me, snatch it, and she was like, "Get up. It's been a lot. You've been sleeping since the whole day. Get up now. The day is ending. You have to do something with the day." I was like, "Okay, yeah." Let's move on to the next one. The next one is nostalgia. By this, I mean systematic nostalgia. I just don't go deep dive into everything good that has happened in my life, but only the specific things that are so good that motivate me to do more, such as my grades that have been good. I remember that to be able to study again, to have the motivation to study again for my college, because the course does sometimes feel a little tough, and I need to invest just a little more time than right now into completing the syllabus. And of course, I'll be able to do it, but just to have that motivation with the help of nostalgia really helps me. So, for example, my 10th and 12th grades were good. It was 80 and 81%. Of course, many have gotten more than that, but it's good for me. And my graduation marks were also good, I guess. It was not amazing. So, I'm not going to say them out loud. But the thing is, this really helps me get through all of my work tasks, all of the notes that I have to revise or learn, because I'm like, if I did that, I can do this also. If I was able to learn all those formulas and pass my math exam, I should be able to learn just a little more English. It just makes sense. It helps me a lot. Now, nostalgia not only in studies, but I also use it in other things, such as for my confidence. So, for confidence, it is, oh my god, it is so helpful I because I go on solo dates, right? And there are many times when I'm like, will I be able to do it? This is a new city, this is a new area. Will I be able to go out alone? Will I be able to do the thing that I've been wanting to do? And of course, now I can do that, but will I really be able to walk up to that place and do the thing? So, in times like this, nostalgia really helps because I remember the past event where I did the thing, where I was also scared, where I also had the thoughts, will I be able to do it? This is like a constant recurring thought, by the way. I'm not just saying it and not just repeating it. It really goes on in the head all the time when you're attempting really new things. And in every new experience, I have to constantly keep reminding myself that, of course, I'll be able to do it. It's not a big deal, you know. So nostalgia also helps me with my confidence and self-esteem. So now I have that record of, oh, I did it that time. I got the marks that time. I should be able to do it again because it's the same person. It's not anyone else. It's just me. I should be able to do it. So I really love thinking like that because then I also become proud of myself. Like, damn, you did that. You know, I love it. I really love it. Now, I have a few more, but these are a little more basic and a little more general. And I think other people also use this. This is not really a only me type of thing. So the first one in this is playing songs that motivate and inspire me. For example, oh, I overthink a lot. I tend to overthink a lot, and there are some songs where the singer is like doubting themselves and they are thinking of so many scenarios, and then in the end they're like, but it will be fine, this is life anyways, lyrics like that. And it really consoles me in a way that it resonates with me. Now, the next one is Instagram reels, only the ones that have powerful women speaking about their own lives and how they were able to evolve. So, in certain podcasts by women, There are stories about their life journey and their career journey. For example, there are stories such as I was in such a weird state in my life before where I did not even want to live, where I did not even want to exist. I did not even want to see my own face in the mirror, but I did certain things and I changed my life around in this many years or this many months. And of course, in many times, there are a lot of years and months involved. For example, one I was listening to, she said, I had to take about 6 to 7 years of my life just to just to be able to grow into a better version of myself. By that she means, of course, financially and emotionally and mentally. I'm not even talking about all the glow up, all the physical glow up she had, which of course, yeah, she did. But the way she mentioned that I did some research about how I can grow up spiritually and how I can evolve financially. And I tried out some methods, some did not work, the others did work. The ones that did work, I went ahead with them, and now I'm in a good enough position in life for myself. So, the way that she said it, the way that these females really put into perspective that it is possible, that it is only looking hard to me right now in this stage of my life, but it will be possible. There were so many quotes, such as there is this one very famous quote where it was written, many generations of women have worked hard to get you the life that you are living right now. So make sure to get the most out of it. It was so inspiring and it was such a heavy line.